And if you could just introduce yourself.
I play keyboards in Alice.
My name is Anna Maria, and I am the founder and vocalist in the band Vajra.
What was the initial start?
So we all have pretty storied histories.
I was just bored during COVID. Did a little demo, put it out, and it was pretty well received by the community. And
always had a thing for horror punk and stuff.
Something that started with me and a laptop during quarantine, and just like, oh yeah, you know, all those times I said, if only I didn't have to work my job all the time, and now like I could have time to do that. Well, now this is that.
All right. And if you guys could just introduce yourself to the fine people at home, I would really appreciate that.
What's up, y'all? I'm Nikky Casket from 5 Cent Freakshow.
I'm Bilo Von Gacy of the 5 Cent Freakshow.
And I'm Steve Morbid, also with 5 Cent Freakshow. Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it, y'all.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being on here. I really appreciate it. So I wanted to talk first a little bit about, can we get your guys' history? Like, how did this all start? Like, what got you guys together? What got this project moving?
So the three of us, we've kind of loved music ever since we were like little tykes, right? Bill and I are blood brothers, so we kind of knew each other since fucking birth. And
sadly.
Sadly. And Steve's been our brother since fucking junior high school, the beginning of junior high school. So we had a friendship, and we kind of built this band on that friendship. And you can kind of tell when we do the live shows and shit like that. You know, we rib on each other, but it's there's so much love in this band. I'm really lucky to have these guys here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I could just come in there and say we're really, really lucky. It's not like I've just heard so many nightmare stories about guys dealing with band relationships and stuff, and we've been through everything that we can be through together already, which I think is a big help. Like I've pissed both of these boys off beyond belief enough times that like we just know how to deal with each other. And when Nikky says we're lucky, he really means it, because I just feel like they might have to find a new drummer on Craigslist here soon, but like we're all good. It's been an absolute wild ride with these boys. So
for sure. Okay. So with that in mind, like, when did you guys like play your first show, and what was that like?
Okay, Bilo, you have a better memory than I do, man. When was our first fucking show, dude?
So I think the first show, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I was 16 at the time. So the year, I don't know, it was 5 years. So it was 2011, I think it was. And we were at the New Black, which was kind of not quite downtown Calgary, but it was a all ages, all the time venue. And at that point, we were a different band. Nikky still played his guitar. Steve was still on the drums, but I was the Britney. I only sang. So that was that. But I mean, that was years and years ago, and that was our first true moment of the three of us on stage together, kind of deal. And I don't know, since then it's just been fucking a blur.
Our parents were there, and it was like
parents were there and all that shit.
It was a great experience for a first show. I mean, it couldn't have been better. And then Bilo picked up the stand-up bass one day, and then 5 Cent was formed, and it was literally like, what song were we playing, Bilo?
Cocaine Blues was the first one that like 5 Cent was doing when we formed 5 Cent.
So we just played that fucking over and over again, and then we're all of a sudden like, we should start a band.
and I think we got People Are Strange. I think we covered that one, and that one was a big hit. Yeah. That was a good one.
That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So speaking of like the songs that you guys have been playing, I noticed on your guys' Bandcamp, you guys have quite a body of work, and it like you were saying, it extends quite a range of time. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed. Like, you can clearly see the evolution of your guys' band from where you started to where you are, but it's all fucking good. Like, it is, I love it. It reminds me of music that when I was in, high school and stuff like that was just coming out and was like blowing up everywhere. And I'm super excited about it. I don't even know if I can see Bad Religion in the background. I was going to ask if they were one of your guys. Yeah, I was going to ask if they were some of your guys' influences or not. But I think that answers the question. But
yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
sorry.
definitely.
Who are your guys' influences?
Nikky,
Okay.
you start.
Okay, so for me, the Misfits is probably right there up at number one. Right follow behind is probably going to be Blitzkid. I fucking love Blitzkid, and Goolsby is a fucking awesome dude. Shout out to Goolsby. He's a super cool, chill, down to earth guy. Crimson Ghost, Mr. Monster, fucking Zombies, The Spook, the other. Most of my influences come from horror punk specifically.
So
What
I guess
about
jumping
you?
in on that one, yeah, I would start. Yeah, you got your classic like Bad Religion, Dead Kennedys, all that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to like horror punk, I'd say I love like the Rosedales. I like a lot more of the melodic kind of horror punk. And then I love the psychobilly as well. So like Os Catalepticos, Frank the Flintstones, even like Barnyard Ballers and shit like that, right? So. But yeah, and then it's that mesh of together weirdness that I think definitely helps out a lot. That's for sure. And Steve's got his own repertoire.
I mean, I think we all do have. Obviously, all of the bands previously mentioned are huge inspirations to all of us. A lot of these, like, because I had maybe a little bit of a different music taste when I was younger, and a lot of these bands were introduced to me by the boys. And we take huge inspiration from them. I also listen to a lot of metal, which I don't think the boys are super into as much, but like I think that plays a huge role in when we come together as a band. We all, like Bilo said, we all have our little things that maybe not everyone likes, but we bring that inspiration to it and then make something wholly unique, or at least we like to think so in the band.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say, like, when I said that you guys sounded like those other things, what I meant completely by that is that you guys have your own very distinct sound. Like you can hear the influences kind of baked into it, but it's a band that kind of stands out on its own for those of you at home. And like the influences are clear and they're present, but they're not overpowering. Like I can go through and like name 6 songs off the top of my head that like when I listen to, I'm just like, damn, those are super melodic, they're super catchy, and like you can hear like the psychobilly, the metal, the punk influences all coming together to make this like really cool melodic kind of sound that it's really difficult to describe other than just killer punk rock. That's the best way I would describe it. It is horror punk, but it is killer punk rock just all around, no matter what.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't want to tug on my balls too much, but I think we are really, really trying to go for something like that. Like we always just wanted to make music that we liked. We love that people love our music, but we're not sitting down and going, what are people gonna like? And how can we make that music? We're sitting down and we're going like, that sounds fucking awesome. Let's play that like this. And
for sure.
So it means the world that you would say it seems unique to you like that, because we're definitely trying for that.
And honestly, like I'll just really quickly add, like a 5-cent song isn't a 5-cent song. Like Nikky's a driving force behind damn near all of our songs, but it's not a 5-cent song until every single one of us has touched it. Then it's this complete like that's the final sound that we finally get. It's having those 3 different influences definitely coming together is huge. So
yeah. So speaking of that, like, why don't we talk a little bit about the writing process? Like, how does that work with you guys? Like, you're a very cohesive band, and you have all these desperate elements that are coming together to make you what you are. So, like you were saying, it seems like it starts with Nikky, but like, how does that work? Like, walk me through it.
So it usually starts from me. We all kind of have our ideas and stuff like that, and if I do shit on my phone, so I do like some voice memos. I even hum like a guitar riff that I think is going to be fucking cool. And I just like, I get it down in my phone so I can remember it. And then, you know, when I'm in the mood strikes, I kind of bring that up and work on it a little bit. And then I pretty much up with a skeleton of a song. And I'm like, hey guys, what do y'all think of this? And I present it to them. And then, you know, Bilo's maybe like, oh, well, this could fucking use this. And Steve could be like, well, we could speed this up and then we do this, that, and the other thing. And then once everybody, like Bilo said, we all get our hands on it, that's when it's a 5 cent song. We kind of each yeah.
It feels like Nikky writes fucking amazing riff. Like they're so sometimes come to me with something and I'm just like, this sounds so good. But I feel like the least we can do is give him the good graces of when he brings it to us, we add to it, we make it better, or you know, like because Bilo will look at it from a bass player standpoint and I'll look at it from a drummer standpoint, and we bring those factors into building the song. Some things that maybe Nikky wouldn't be seeing, I'll be seeing. Same with Bilo, right? Eventually, yeah. I feel like we always layer it up, and it's not like we're muddling it. It's not like there's too many cooks spoil the broth kind of thing. So but Nikky writes some fucking killer riff. Sometimes he comes to me and I'm like, that's the best place to start right there.
I appreciate you, man.
Well, for sure. I was gonna say, like, part of like one of the reasons I wanted to interview you guys was that cohesive sound. You guys have a very driving, like, punk rock sound, but it's super melodic. And it's not just like, it's not melodic just in the vocals, which it is. You guys are great singing, and I love the harmonies and stuff you guys do, but it's also in the riff and it's in the bass playing and like even in the groove of the drums. Like you can hear this kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, but there is a melodicism to the way that you play that makes you guys sound the way you sound. That's hard to describe if you're not like tuned into like what's going on. So I just wanted to say, as like a fan, I appreciate like the work you guys put in. I think that's really cool how you guys do all that.
Thank you so much, man. That means the fucking world to me too.
So on that same note about writing the songs, how do you guys come up with the lyrics and the melodies and the harmonies for those songs? Because they like I was saying, I can name several songs off the top of my head. One of them, I'm looking at my notes right here, Deader Together. That song is an absolute banger. I love it from start to finish. I love your guys' self-titled track that was on your guys' self-titled release, 5 Cent Freak Show by 5 Cent Freak Show on 5 Cent Freak Show. Love that. I love I was looking at Eggs Mortis and Kill 'Em All and Self-Made Psycho. Like all of those have killer lyrics and killer vocal melodies and harmonies. Like that's what like really drew me into those songs in particular. So like how does that all like start and work?
Oh man. So usually that kind of also stems from actually it's all of us sometimes. You know, Bilo and I, we can sometimes go sit down and write out some lyrics and shit like that, or maybe it's just me, but that comes up with the lyrics. And then once we all start jamming it a little bit, then we kind of like flourish the lyrics a little bit and be like, oh well, what if we did like this here, or like do the fucking whoa here, and then like a harmony, this, that, and the other thing, right? You know, it all stems from kind of like jamming out that like skeleton of a song that's presented to 5 Cent, you know. And once we get our head wrapped around like the riff, the fucking song structure, then we can like kind of more focus in on like lyrics and like what's gonna fucking be awesome here, or like harmonies, trading off vocals, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, man.
Yeah, then I don't know when it comes to like themes and stuff. A lot of times, like it'll be, you know, something that we just saw recently. Like, you know, if we saw like a documentary on like Ted Bundy or something recently, we're like, okay, yeah, like fuck yeah, we got all this sick new info about like this shit. Like, let's go in on one of those. Or it was like one, you know, I think Nikky had it one time. He's like, oh, I had this fucking dream about, you know, I forget what the hell it was, but we started writing a song about whatever the fuck that was and shit. So, you know, a lot of times it's just that shit, like whatever piques our interest at the time, and whatever you always want to try and walk right up to the line without crossing it too, right? So it's that a little bit the thing to always have to, you know, have in play. But yeah, it's always things that have always interested us, like killers and carnivals. We've always liked that kind of shit. Things that
horror in general.
Yeah, exactly. Things that'll not make our parents too proud. Those are always the fun stuff.
None of us are doing any of that right now. I mean, sometimes it does, like, it doesn't translate super well if it's on paper, and then we bring it and we're playing it. Like, a lot of times with Nikky's vocals, like, it'll work really well on paper, and then we just adjust and obviously we're not going to be forcing anyone to sing something that feels unnatural. It's just making it work, smoothing things out. And I mean, those are definitely some of our biggest inspirations when it comes to writing lyrics. But I think another thing, like you mentioned that song 5 Cent Freakshow, that's without us really even knowing, like, it's become a bit of an anthem, like in some of our communities. And I really love that. People will shout that at us, and it just makes me so unbelievably happy sometimes hearing people shout, "We may be freaks, but we are not alone," at us. Like, I don't know where Nikky got that shit, but it's become such an awesome staple that really represents how we feel about our community. Like, it is just that we may be freaks, but we're not alone. And I can't believe how fucking awesome. And we found it first, thank God, because if someone else did it, I'd be like, shit, I wish I thought about that.
Fun fact about 5 Cent Freakshow, actually, there was one point where I wanted to scrap the song completely. I don't know what it was. I was at one point, I was like, guys, I think we should scrap 5 Cent Freakshow, just the song. And Bilo was the one that actually saved it. He suggested, he's like, no, we can't scrap it. And Steve was like, yeah, we can't scrap it. So I don't know what I was on about, but I'm very glad they spoke up, because that song, it resonates with all of us now, I feel. And it's fun. People love it. We love it.
When you're like,
the fun fact,
you play the song over and over again, it's not like you get bored of it, but a lot of the times we'll be like, well, do we want to keep this in? Do we want to maybe scratch this for a little while, put it on the back burner a little bit? So I don't blame you, Nikky, for feeling like that, but it's definitely just one of those songs we can't ever get rid of, and we don't want to. It's not like we want to.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say it's an absolute banger, and I'm glad it made the cut. Like, I totally get that. I've been in a couple bands myself, obviously nowhere near where you guys are at, but like, I totally understand that feeling, because I was the vocalist in my band, and I'd be writing lyrics out and I'd be singing stuff like again and again and again, and I'm like, that I don't feel it, it's not working. But like, then you put it in front of someone and they're like, whoa, like, what the hell? This is so good. So I totally get that, and I respect that. I'm glad you guys did keep it in, though.
Yeah, sometimes eventually you just look at things through a different lens if you're really exposed to it, and it can be really refreshing when someone's like, no, hold on, wait a sec, this is awesome. It's on repeat. Sometimes it'll get after you, but it's always nice to have someone take those lenses off, and you're like, okay, yeah, she can stay.
Yep. Totally.
Wonderful. Okay, so speaking of, like, we've been talking a lot about writing music and writing lyrics and stuff, and so now I'm curious, like, you guys, I think it's fair to say you guys would consider yourself horror punk, like that's what you guys would consider yourself as a genre. So what do you feel when you're listening to other bands, or even yourself, what do you feel makes a good horror punk song? What do you feel really captures the spirit of that genre? Like a song that you listen to and you're like, damn, I wish I would have wrote that. Like, it's so good that you just love it and you'd listen to it over and over again.
Oh, that's another question. Bilo, sorry.
I got three big ones. And that's as like I said before, the harmony. I really love the good harmonies and whatnot like that. But quick and quick and inspired, shall I say, lyrics are a big one as well. Like if I hear like someone's really got something fucking sick to say, and straight up catchiness. Just, it's one of those, as long as it earworms for long enough, if it's a 30-second banger or a fucking 14-minute long fucking ballad, if it earworms, you got it, man, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one more I would add on there, if I can, really quick, Nikky.
Yeah, give it.
Is like, I feel like our last album at least was produced very well. It sounds really nice to me, but there is this almost like raw aspect to a lot of horror punk that I really latch onto. Like, it's not low production quality or anything like that. It's punk rock, you know, and
Raw.
that's raw. The rawness of it all is something that's really important to me. And if you get something that's a little bit too maybe polished is not the right word, but you know what I mean. It almost loses that horror punk, or at least punk sense for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I will since the guys said everything that I was gonna say, I'm gonna give y'all an example of what I would consider a perfect horror punk song. And this is from Silent Horror. They recently just released it, but it's called Astro Fiends by Silent Horror. Shout out to Silent Horror, by the way. They're our boys, they're fucking awesome, and we love Silent Horror. But yeah, Astro Fiends, in my opinion, it is a perfect horror punk song. In my like humble, honest opinion. To me, that is how a perfect horror punk song should sound. That's just like Silent Horror. Yeah, they kill that song.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for that. You guys, are there any bands that you guys have either played with or going to be playing with in the future that you really enjoy and you think are also really worth checking out? Like, is there any bands you want to shout out that you've played with or you know like?
There are tons. I'll start with that. We have been blessed with playing a shitload of venues with a shitload of different bands. And straight up, if you see this interview and you've played with us, you're fucking amazing, because we played with just a shitload of amazing people.
We're gonna miss some of you. We do it every fucking interview. We're like, I want to name all of these guys, but I feel so bad, but it's just because there's so many amazing groups we played with.
But Nikky's our reference page, so I'll let him go.
But yeah, I just want to shout out Evelyn's Casket. I actually recently joined in on Evelyn's Casket, so I'm doing some rhythm guitars and some backing vocals and some vocals for them. So they're fucking awesome dudes. We actually did a tour with them, Cemetery Youth Part 2 with Ghost Waves. And we're gonna be doing Cemetery Youth Part 3 in Canada here. So that's gonna be sometime next summer. I think it was like next August we're planning, but we're planning on doing some Canada dates with I think Darker Days might be on this bill, but Darker Days, 5 Cent, and Evelyn's Casket. So that's gonna be really, really fucking awesome. Definitely check out Darker Days, Ghost Waves, Evelyn's Casket. They're fucking awesome dudes, awesome music. The Rilers are fucking incredible. Like, they're one of the best live performances I think I've ever seen in my decade plus of being a musician. The Rilers put on a hell of a fucking good show. Order of the Fly, they're fucking sick too. I could go on for days and days and days.
Yeah,
There's so many incredible. Yeah,
Blitzkid.
Fucking yeah, totally. And a lot of bands I want to see too.
For sure. Well, hey, before we let you guys go, is there anything you want to shout out? I'm gonna personally say go check out their Bandcamp. They've got a lot of great music on it. Go download and pay for it. Go buy their stuff. They've got some stuff that says pay what you want, pay for it. Okay. It's great. You're gonna love it. And I really like, if you want to support great music, that's how you do it. You pay the artist, you help them get it so that they can keep being creative and go out there. But anyway, I'll give it back to you guys. Is there anyone or any social media or anything you guys want to shout out? Anything coming up in the future?
We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on all major music streaming platforms around there. We also have a podcast too called Creature Feature Radio, which I want to do another episode on here soon. But it's just us being jackasses talking about random shit and playing some other bands' music on there. So it's a lot of fun too. If you like podcasts, y'all can check that shit out as well. We're fucking anywhere. So anywhere you can find the music, YouTube, you name it, we're there.
We try to be like a bad virus.
Bad virus.
One of the ones that doesn't, you never really get rid of it. It just kind of stays dormant inside your body, and then all of a sudden one day it pops up.
You got the subconscious wet dreams about and stuff like that. That's what we strive to be.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the episode. I really appreciate it. My name is William Hamilton, and I've been the host of this episode of Heartfelt Horror here on the Heartfelt Horror Media Network channel. We really do appreciate it. And I mean, me, myself, and currently another individual who's behind the scenes, really do appreciate you guys staying to the end of these videos. While you're here, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on the video, subscribing to our channel, leaving a comment down below, these little things really do go a long way to helping us, get our name out there and get our show out into the algorithm so other people like you can find us. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, we'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're looking for other ways to support the show, we have a Patreon. The link for that is going to be down here. You can copy that into the search bar and you'll find our page. Our Patreon is for $5 a month. For $5 a month, you're going to be able to help us buy all sorts of new equipment. You're going to help us be able to save up for different kind of developmental processes that we're going to be using to bring you new and different kinds of content besides these interviews. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please consider it. Again, it'll be $5 and the link to the Patreon is going to be down there below. So thank you so much for your time and have a nice day. Bye.